The two views for the forearm use a 14 by 17 cassette. For the AP forearm, the cassette will be 14 by 17. The forearm supinated, elbow extended, the line through the humeral epicondyle is parallel to image receptor plane. Central ray location directly perpendicular to the midpoint of the field, and the anatomy demonstrated AP projection of the radius, ulna, distal humerus, and proximal root of carpal bones. For the lateral forearm, patient shoulder and the humerus are parallel to the table with the forearm. Elbow flexed 90 degrees, the hand, wrist, and forearm rotated to lie in a true lateral position resting on the ulnar surface. Eye line through the humeral epicondyles is perpendicular to the film plane. The central ray location perpendicular to the midpoint of the film space. Anatomy demonstrated lateral projection of the radius, ulna, distal humerus, and the proximal root of carpal bones. The views for the elbow use a 10 by 12 cassette. For the AP elbow, patient supinated hand and extended elbow. Hand must be supinated to prevent rotation of the radius and ulna. Center the elbow joint to center of image receptor. Line through humeral epicondyle is parallel to plane. Central ray location directed perpendicular to the elbow joint. Anatomy demonstrated AP projection of elbow joint, distal end of the humerus, proximal end of the radius and ulna. For the medial oblique elbow, arm extended, palm supinated, then pronate the hand, center the elbow joint to the center of the field. A line through the humeral epicondyles will form a 45-degree angle with the field plane. Central ray location directly perpendicular to the center of elbow joint through the center of the film space. The anatomy demonstrated internal oblique projection of the elbow joint, distal humerus, and the proximal forearm. Coronoid process of the ulnar is well demonstrated. For the lateral oblique elbow, a patient extend the elbow and center it to the center of the field. Externally rotate the hand and arm so that a line through the humeral epicondyle forms a 40 to 45-degree angle with the fire plane. Central ray directly perpendicular to the midpoint of the elbow joint through the center of the field. The anatomy demonstrated external oblique image of the elbow, radial head, neck, and tuberosity are demonstrated clearly without superimposition by the ulna. For the lateral elbow, patient is seated with the elbow flexed 90 degrees. Shoulder is dropped in order to maintain a parallel relationship between the plane of the film and the humerus and forearm. The forearm at wrist is lateral. This should place a line through the humeral epicondyle perpendicular to the film. Central ray is directed perpendicular to the midpoint of the elbow joint through the center of the film space. Anatomy demonstrated the distal humerus, proximal forearm, and olecranon process. Fat paths should be visualized. For the elbow joints, patient is seated with the elbow flexed with the fist resting on the shoulder. Central ray location, central ray is directed perpendicular to the humerus, approximately 2 inches superior to the olecranon process through the center of the receptor space. The anatomy demonstrated forearm and humerus should be superimposed with no rotation. The olecranon process is soft, and distal humerus should be visualized. For the holy elbow, the distal humerus parallel to the film, centering the condyloid area of the humerus, it may be necessary to provide support for the patient arm. For the proximal radius and ulna, dorsal surface of the forearm on the film centering to the elbow joint. The central ray perpendicular through the elbow. Anatomy demonstrated AP projection of the distal humerus and proximal radius and ulna into separate exposures. For the AP humerus, the SID is 40, the Bucky. Patient is supine and arm extended, shoulder in same plane as elbow, abduct arm slightly and supinate hand. The epicondyles are parallel to the IR, and the central ray should go through the mid-humerus and the center of the cassette. The cassette is 14 by 17. For the lateral humerus, the SID is 40, the Bucky. Patient is supine with the arm extended, shoulder in same plane as elbow, internally rotate arm. The epicondyles are perpendicular to the IR, collimate, and the patient is shield. For the hitchhiker, lateral humerus and elbow, patient 90% abduction with the external rotation shoulder, thumb pointing posterior, palm facing head, and 90-degree flexion of the elbow. The cassette is 14 by 17. The SID is 40. Shoulder in same plane as elbow. Epicondyles. No, For the humeral hitchhiker, A to B, 14 by 17 cassette. Central ray at the mid-humerus. Patient has to be shielded. Patient flex elbow 90 degree, abduct shoulder to 90 degree. Thumb is pointing posteriorly, palm facing hand. Light is 2 inch past AC joint, 2 inch above shoulder, distal to the elbow. The cassette should go through the mid-humerus and the center of the cassette.